to say that and it sounded like, based on when Supergas ran earlier today, that the track's 2 to 300s faster. We do have less grains of water in the air. It's still about 80 some. So based on the 83 pass yesterday, I'm going over to the right lane this time. Got some more time in the box. Hopefully it's enough. It runs a little under. That's fine. We can always take it from there. Well, that was a pretty interesting run. I mean, the air's a lot different this morning. It's still really sticky, like I was talking about earlier, but track is fantastic. The cars in Super Comp are almost all running 85s, 86s. I mean, there's just a ton of them. But the guy that I ran, he just went up and lit both lights. You know, kind of the starting line thing was a little screwed up. Car ran great. We definitely got some numbers to dial off of. And I'm looking forward to the first round.
And don't forget, everybody out there in TV land, wherever, don't forget to enter our contest that we're having. Go to fuelingyourpassion.com. Okay, we think we actually drove through the converter yesterday on the first time trial or qualifying pass, and so I went down and talked to Marco Abruzzi this morning, and we got a converter for him from him, and he says is basically set up just for this motor. We should have been 680s yesterday with the tune-up that we had on this motor, and we went 9.0s. Mile an hour was down, so we're going to go ahead and change out this torque converter, put a Marco Abruzzi torque converter in, and see if we can pick up the 3/10 that we need.
He's a wanted man.
Yeah. And here's my good friend Chris, who's helping us tune this puppy.
Eventually we'll get it into the 5s.
Is that 8th mile?
Whatever it takes, right?
And your number 32 qualifier now is Kevin Fisher. Team out of Lima, Ohio, Kevin Fisher, the Ohio Crankshaft team, as we have 2 pair of top dragsters left. As the weather has changed considerably here in Norwalk, as the temperature has dropped at least 10 to 15 degrees. So here we go. Bump spot is 702. Prevo right side. Fisher left. Fisher rattles the tires on the summit side, and Fisher will run 7-11. He went 7-11, so they are not in the show so far.
I couldn't go up for Kathy's first round because I had some things I had to do to get the top dragster back together after we did a converter change. And we knew it was going to be tight. Sure enough, they called Super Comp and top dragster basically almost at the same time. And which always sucks because, you know, we use the cart to push the top dragster up to the staging lanes and back from the top end. Because we don't run a cooling system. We run methanol, Dragon methanol. And she missed the first call because another top dragster across the way here was warming up, so she missed the actual of the first call for Super Comp, because usually she's pretty good about getting up there, and she's usually 10 to 12 cars out, which is about perfect. And she got in on the tail end. So basically what happened there was I told Brent, go ahead, go up, do the normal thing like I'm there, take care of her, you know, we'll be good to go, I'll be back here waiting. Well, it ended up being time we got back and we got up there, we were within the last 4 pairs of cars. And Jake Elrod had some problems and ended up breaking a transmission yoke, I guess, which put tranny fluid all over and caused me to sit in the water box, next pair out, for a good 30-35 minutes, which left our nitrous bottle cooled down below where we wanted to be, and the track lost about 15 degrees temperature. And we had a pretty good tune-up on it with a Marco Abruzzi converter we just put in, which I'll tell you what, if we can get past this tire shake, this car is going to fly. And we proved it right there, because it went out, brought the wheels up, had a good light, had a 10 light, I was happy with that. And I felt the wheels come up, and all of a sudden it went into some of the most violent tire shake I've ever felt. And it's so bad it actually broke the wheelie bar along with several other things on the car. And so I pedaled it once, got back into it, it shook again, I pedaled it again. It drove out of it, and we went on down through there, and I just ran it out the back door to see how it was going to run, so we could at least get some numbers. As a matter of fact, it shook so hard it shook the wires loose from my EGT. So we didn't get RPM from half track on, but we still got our EGTs because we have batteries in them, and it was still recording. So that was a good deal. But thank God that Kathy's still in, and she did a great job. So hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate, and maybe I can get in as an alternate tomorrow.
Getting ready for first round was a little chaotic because of our 2 cars going to be running back to back. My staging lanes are on the other side of the track compared to where our top dragster goes. And I actually use enough fuel when I have to drive a mile over to have to be able to fill up. So Brent made it over in plenty of time to go ahead and top off my fuel cell with Dragon methanol. And I wasn't really sure what was going to happen first round or who I was going to run. Actually, I ran a guy that I had just run in the final time run session who was having a little problem staging and problem dialing his car in. I knew that going into the round, so I knew that it was going to be my round to lose. Didn't want to go red. I actually had a little more time to the box, and it worked out in my favor. We actually have a thing in all of the sportsman classes that is called courtesy stage. And that means that both drivers need to be pre-staged before one driver stages, which would be courtesy staging. And the gentleman that I ran, not only in my final qualifying session earlier today, was the guy that I ran in first round, and he rolled in and lit both bulbs. Now today, for first round, he did it before I was even pre-staged. So I waited on him, they backed him up, he backed completely out of the lights, rolled in, staged, and when I launched, I looked over and it was like there was nobody next to me. I mean, there was never anybody next to me. So by the time I got to the 1,000-foot mark, I just flat got out of it and just drug the brake enough. I mean, I certainly didn't want to break out. And I didn't have the best light in the world, but I didn't want to go red. The car felt absolutely great. It was there to do whatever I needed it to do. I felt like I would have been dialed where I wanted to dial the car for that pass. And got some good numbers. But unfortunately, NHRA wanted to try to get in a second round of Super Comp. And that's not going to happen because, as you can see, we have rain. We've got baby Beastie packed away for the evening in her blankie. And the top dragster car is inside as we hear the thunder.
On cue.